The Iran crisis is by no means over. Iran is sitting across at least three major fault lines, and those are getting wider by the day. The economic crisis that precipitated the last round of protests, a social rupture across clashing beliefs over Islam, a military confrontation that is building up on all sides, US Armada or not. The rioting has given way to an uneasy calm across Iran. The shops are open, street vendors are back, but beneath the apparent comings and goings, everyone knows it's far from normal. The widest fault line of all, the one that sparked the riots, is now widening further. The collapse of the Riyal is trading currently at 1.4 million Riyals to a dollar, down from about 750,000 mid-December. In 2010, it was 10,000. The resulting squeeze on people and on the traders, the bazaris as they're called, is now getting tighter by the day. After all that killing, the bazaris are not now protesting on the streets, but that's not because their difficulties have gone away. At the present exchange rate for the Riyal, too many of their imports are now impossibly expensive. Those goods then have to be sold at prices fixed by the government. It wasn't adding up when they came out on the streets to protest. It's now adding up less and less. The regime has begun to offer cash handouts, as the announcement goes, of 10 million Riyals a month to most people, which is all of $7. Now, this is not going to help the economy or the bazaris, or even in the face of the soaring inflation, do a great deal for those getting those supposed millions. Sanctions that had added heavily to prices and scarcity are now being stepped up further. The UN had ended sanctions relief in September last year, and now both the US and the EU are ordering further sanctions.
One key reason behind the government budget deficit has been the sanctions imposed on Iran since around 2010. They disturbed Iran's economy in multiple layers. Our oil export revenues dropped significantly, and the country faced huge obstacles in receiving even those revenues.
The US has announced new sanctions targeting shipping, trading, energy companies, besides a number of individuals from the regime and close to the regime. It's going to get a lot more difficult now to get goods through. Those are goods as essential as cereals such as wheat, edible oils, sugar, life-saving drugs. Shadow fleets have brought goods from Russia and elsewhere to ports in Iran to meet needs to a considerable extent, but this is going to get tougher now. There seems to be food enough at the stores for now, but the difficulty is that people don't have enough money to buy that food with.
I can't live like this at all. I can't afford a kilogram of fruit. I can't afford a kilogram of rice.
I pay $55 for monthly rent. I received a $1,000 bank loan and I need to pay it back. I can't keep up with the costs. I don't know what to do.
The situation is terrible. I don't know how the retired can live under the current sanctions. People's tables are shrinking day by day. Prices for basics are soaring. The price of eggs has doubled.
The second widening fault line, and this one has been widening for a long time now, is the imposition of Islam upon public life. That has only resulted in turning people away from Islam. The mosques in the supposedly most Islamist of countries are now largely deserted, and that is official. In February of 2023, as recently as that, the senior Iranian cleric Muhammad Abul Qasim Dulabi said that 50,000 of about 75,000 mosques had closed. That abandonment appears to have increased after the 2022 protests that were led by Mahsa Amini, who was later arrested and then killed in custody. But already, earlier in June of 2020, the Group for Analyzing and Measuring Attitudes in Iran surveyed 50,000 adults, of whom close to half did not describe themselves as Muslim at all. Also, about 40% of those surveyed said they could not answer questions honestly, even in a survey, which would suggest that the real number who have abandoned Islam would be even higher than what was measured in that survey. That survey was in line with Iranian government data. Surveys by the Iranian government showed that back in 1975, 80% of people observed daily prayers and fasted during Ramzan. By 2023, 85% had said society has become less religious than it was. What these statistics say is plainly visible all over Iran, on the streets, in the homes, in the split. between streets and homes. The Islamic look is still quite visible on the streets to a considerable extent, but within homes, just about every Iranian you can hear of lives what is described as a very westernized life. Internet restrictions have failed spectacularly to block images of that kind of lifestyle. Internet users have increased from 615,000 in the year 2000 to more than 70 million today in a population close to 90 million. An estimated 90% managed to circumvent censorship. This is a blow to the heart of the regime. The final fault line, the line of vulnerability for Iran, is its military position. We've seen the unusual spectacle of Netanyahu, of all people, speaking against an immediate attack on Iran, and then the US backing off after that string of promises from Trump to keep protesting, that help is on its way and whatnot. Trump was seen, no doubt by many in Iran, to have betrayed the protesters he had made all those promises to, and that could hardly have surprised many within Iran. He only lived up to his taco image. Trump always chickens out, but it's not like the US and Israel to let go indefinitely at a time when they have the Iranian regime on its knees. It's too early to say at the moment whether the imminent arrival of the US naval fleet led by the Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier is symbolic or a message or a stage setup or something more definite. But the pressure is on. Whatever the degree of degradation of Iran's nuclear program in the June strikes last year, and whatever assurances may have been given by the Iranians to keep American missiles away, Israel and therefore the US have not stopped considering Iran a military threat, and Iran has without doubt a well-developed military program, and some of that is on display with great national pride to people in Tehran and elsewhere. Iran is not stepping away from its military strength in a hurry, and Israel will find that hard to live with. So Netanyahu's advice against an immediate attack on Iran is certain to have been tactical and temporary. No settlement appears in sight between the US and Israel on the one hand and the Ayatollah regime on the other, and with that regime its feared Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, the IRGC, and that is not cracking up in a hurry either. It's like the army in Pakistan. Whoever rules in name, they rule in fact. So this Ayatollah IRGC regime is still in place, taking a hard line, and this security fault line is really the most uncertain of them all. It jets out well beyond Iran across much of the Middle East. The US and Israel are unlikely to let this perceived threat linger indefinitely. They no doubt would prefer an implosion, which is not unlikely, but for Iran, external threat now sits very close at the doorstep.